The Disappearance of Madeleine McCann. First look at sensational Netflix documentary trailer. That's E! News Corp is a network of leading companies in the worlds of diversified media, news, education, and information services. This is the dramatic trailer for a sensational Netflix documentary on the world's most famous missing child case, which airs tomorrow. It offers a glimpse into the disappearance of Madeleine McCann, which promises to reveal new theories into what happened when she went missing in 2007, including a theory she was abducted by people traffickers and may still be alive. It features 40 experts and key figures in the case, some of whom argue she was taken to another foreign country. The top child protection cop in the UK's first Maddie investigation says, I absolutely believe that in my lifetime we will find out what has happened to Madeleine McCann. There's huge hope to be had with the advances in technology. Year on year, and as we use that technology to revisit and review that which we captured in the past, there's every likelihood that something we already know will slip into position. The documentary, released tomorrow, also claims pretty Madeleine is likely to have been kept alive by child traffickers because, as a middle-class British girl, she would be more financially valuable. Julian Perry-Vanez, the private investigator hired by the McCanns, explains they usually go for lower-class kids from third-world countries. That's the main supplier of these gangs. The value that Madeleine had was really high because if they took her, it's because they were going to get a lot of money. Large sections of the 8-part series, which could see Maddie and X27's parents taking part, are devoted to exploring the human trafficking explanation, which regularly involves the supply of a child to desperate wannabe parents or sickening pedophiles. The theory that she was taken by child abusers was briefly considered when Maddie disappeared from her family's apartment in Praia da Luz in Portugal, on the evening of May 3, 2007. She was left sleeping with her 2 siblings, as dined in a restaurant within the Ocean Club resort where they were staying. But the abduction line of inquiry wasn't prioritized by bungling Portuguese cops, who instead devoted their time to trying to pin the blame on Gary and Kate. This detracted from the fact that the internet was increasingly normalizing pedophilia, expanding their networks and fueling the demand for child snatching. Mr. Gamble adds in the show, there is no doubt that human trafficking is a massive problem. On the internet, you can go into those dark places and say, this is who I am and this is what I do. And you're made to feel. The documentary explains how Portugal is also the perfect location for child traffickers because it's a well-placed gateway, allowing abducted children to be instantly taken overseas by boat or driven across Europe. But there was also fresh optimism from child abduction experts, including Ernie Allen, head of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in the U.S. He helped the McCanns in their search by creating an aged image of Maddie, who would now be 15 years old, and tells how he has assisted in returning many other abducted youngsters to their families in similar circumstances. In the documentary, Ernie says there are many cases we can point to in which children have been found, have come home alive, after months, after years. There have been cases in the United States in which witnesses, people who have information, haven't come forward for decades, and then one day provide information that helps lead to the resolution of the case. The documentary, which will be available in full to Netflix's 159 million subscribers around the globe, has a reach which could provide a crucial witness or piece of evidence and will also raise awareness of the case to a new generation. Executive producer of the documentary, Emma Cooper, said, we're trying to lay out as much detail as we can about the case, and if it could jog someone's memory in some way, then that would be amazing. Keeping any search for what happened to Madeleine in the consciousness, particularly globally, is something that's so important. As we show in the documentary, other children are found, so you have to hope. The couple suddenly found themselves vilified in 2007 when the Portuguese police named them as formal suspects. Dogs were said to have detected the presence of a body and blood on Madeleine's toy in their apartment and in their hire car. It led to claims, but the documentary shows how experts view the evidence as unreliable and thought naming the McCanns as suspects was a desperate act by police. Jim Gamble said the police were clutching at straws. The documentary suggests could still come home alive. It points to the case of J.C. Dugard, below you abducted Agita 9 in California, and found 18 years later. The series also cites Carlina White, snatched as a baby from a New York hospital in 1987. She learned the truth. The father of Elizabeth Smart you kidnapped from her home aged 14 and rescued 9 months later. You even contacted Kate to give words of support. Ed Smart said, from the moment Madeleine disappeared, cops were slow to respond and secretive about what they were doing, but under pressure, they soon began to leak information and act rashly. The film features Robert Murat, a Brit living in Praia da Luz and the first named the suspect, who says he felt like he was being set up. Private investigator Julian Perry Vances also says cops just wanted to blame the parents. The officer leading the secretive world of online child abusers can now be thrown wide open. Julian Perry Vances worked at Metido 3, a Barcelona-based private investigation agency once hired by the McCanns. He tells the documentary he infiltrated a pedophile ring sharing obscene videos and passed their details to police. Former head of cybercrime Juan Carlos Ruiloba left, said in the end 23 people were questioned and 13 arrested. Years after Madeleine's disappearance, and with the probe seemingly at a standstill, the McCanns gained support from The Sunday. In 2011, we published an open letter from Kate and Gary to then Prime Minister David Cameron and a petition for readers to sign, backing our plea for the Met Police to look into the case. Labour's ex-Home Secretary Alan Johnson says in the series nothing much seemed to happen, and then the Sun picked up the campaign. Suddenly we got Father Haynes Hubbard, of the Nessa Senora de Luz Church, which serves Praia da Luz, tells the documentary the McCanns vowed to keep believing their daughter can be found until presented with evidence that she is dead. Now a close family friend, Father Hubbard, left, said if anyone ever gave clear factual evidence that Harry's Madeleine's body or Harry's clear evidence that she is no longer alive, then they'll accept it. But until someone proves that Madeleine's not going to come home, they're going to believe that she is. Our journalists strive for accuracy, but on occasion we make mistakes. For further details,
raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.